Abby here from Abby's Den. I've got my Brother LS14 out. We're going to be making a stretch knit t-shirt. I just want to show you that the setup is that we're on stitch number 3, because stitch 3 gives me a narrow zigzag, narrow enough for it to be good on this jersey fabric. The next thing I want you to do is make sure that you've got the correct needle in. So if you use a jersey or ballpoint, which is the same needle, so if you see it jersey, if you see it labelled ballpoint, you're looking at the same needle. Pop that in to your machine, and that just pushes away the fibres rather than knit through them and shred them. And then also, if you can and you are able to buy the right make for your machine, walking foot, do so. That helps you so much. A walking foot has feed dogs on the top as well as the feed dogs already in your machine, and what that does is it feeds the top layer of jersey fabric through the machine as evenly as. So can you see the feed dogs are moving up and down? And that's because the hook here of the side hook of the walking foot is attached to the needle bar here. So as that needle bar goes up and down, these feed dogs go up and down. Can you see? So it goes in rhythm with the machine, so it feeds at the same time. So it's sort of known as an even feed foot for that reason as well. So if you can, walking foot, make sure you do put ballpoint jersey needle in there. I've lowered the tension as well on my machine. I've gone from 4 to 3, and that just helps avoid puckering. Going back to the needle, let me see if I can bring it out a little bit. Make sure your threads are always at the back, okay? That I can't stress enough. You see a lot of people getting their fabric tangled up in the oval there where the needle it goes down to catch the bobbin thread. Make sure those tail threads are always pushed to the back. And finally, make sure this thread take-up lever is at its highest point. And you can, on this machine, you know that it is because on the side here, you have that groove. That groove, when it's at the top position, will tell me that this hook is in the top position as well. Again, don't worry about the needle being in the highest position. You should be worrying about whether that's in highest position, because that's telling the mechanics of this machine that it's set ready to start a new stitch, or it has completed, more importantly, the last stitch. If it's not completed the last stitch and you try and start a new piece of work, it gets itself in a tangle at the bottom there, and you really don't want that with stretch fabric. It's so difficult to unpick. So let's go back to our sewing. So what we want to do first is start with our shoulders. Now with our shoulders, because it's stretch fabric, we don't want to stretch our shoulders as we wear this garment. Well, it won't stretch anyway, because your shoulders don't tend to stretch, do they? Move around, but your arms do. So what we do is we add something to keep them in position, and we call that stay tape, or we can use ribbon. We can use something that does not stretch. So we can go back to a straight stitch on this because we're using a non-stretch. Okay, so we're going to use an inside seam. The inside seam stitch length for this machine, I would say, is a 9. You could use 10. Probably be using 10 is the stitches are quite wide. So back tack, move that pin. Tack. Okay, and we'll do the same with the other shoulder. So that just reinforces my shoulder for me. Can you see? Right, so this is the neckband. So now we've got the shoulders in. Let's get rid of these threads. We want to just do the neckband. We've cut our neckband out there, and all we do is we're going to fold it into half. Now it's quite a wide neckband, this, and it's quite stretchy. So what we'll do is we'll pin it to one side, just just make sure it's a nice straight edge. So I'm going to just cut that. Got a nice straight edge. And we're just measuring without stretch. So without stretch, I'm just measuring the circumference of my neck. So that's just how round it is, really, isn't it? So I'm just measuring the length around the opening. Okay, and it takes me up to there. So if I cut there, that will give me a band that's exactly the same circumference as my neckline. But because I need to stretch this as I go, I'm going to take a wodge of that band off. So I'm going to take about 1/5 of it off. So if that's 1/4, I want even less. So I'm going to just cut it off, and I'll cut off the blue part actually. So I'll cut it off there, and I'm going to join the band because I've got quite a big stretch in that. So I'm just going to go back to a 3 on my sewing machine. So we're going to use, because this is a stretch fabric, we're working on not a straight fabric, we've gone back on the 3. Now I'm using a 1 centimetre seam allowance, and that means I'm going to keep my fabric following this number 1 on my machine as I sew. So make sure my threads are at the back, the hook is at the top, and we can sew. Do your back tack. Get that hook back to the top, and we'll just cut off any excess there and the threads. Then what we need to do is just fold our fabric over so that we've got a nice band size. Now you can decide how wide you want this band. You might want it quite wide. You may not want it as wide. And that's fine. You can just follow it as wide as you need it to be. So if we place that, but we're not going to place it on the shoulder, because we'll end up with quite a bulky shoulder. I'm going to place it on the back. So I'm going to pin it good sides together. Let's do it that way. Good sides together, and I'm just going to pin the neck line to my neckband. So stretch your band as you go, and that way when you've stretched your band, when it sits on, it will sit against your body. Because it's being forced to stand upright. The stretch forces it to stand upright and pull itself inwards, and that inwards is towards your body. So actually it will look really good. And not stretching the lower fabric, just the band. So there we have it. So that's what we're looking for, a nice neat finish on our neckband, and it sits against the body quite comfortably. If you do overlap, just cut it and give yourself a nice press on the with the iron as well.